Why? We have images about ourselves and images of pictures about others. Why? In us, each one has a peculiar image, and identifying oneself with that image. Why human beings throughout the world have created an image about themselves. Whether that image is necessary, whether that image gives one a sense of security, whether that image does not bring about separative action, and in relationship, intimate or otherwise, why this image exists. For images separate human beings. Please, we are thinking together. I am not telling you how to think or what to think. The speaker is not pointing out, but together we are investigating into this very complex problem of relationship. If we could look closely at our relationship with your wife, husband, friend, or whatever it is, and look at it very closely. Not try to avoid it, not try to brush it aside, but if we could together examine it and find out why human beings throughout the world have this capacity, this extraordinary machinery that creates images, that creates symbols, patterns, and in those patterns, symbols, images, one finds a great security. We have to examine that together. If you observe, and I hope you don't mind the speaker pointing out to you, if one observes, one has an image about oneself. Either one has an imagination of conceit, arrogance, or the contrary to that. Or one has accumulated a great deal of experience, acquired a great deal of knowledge, which in itself creates the image. Why do we have images about ourselves? Please put that question to yourself and look at it. Whether those images do not separate people. If you have an image as a Swiss or a British or French and so on, do not those images not only distort our observation of humanity, but also do they not separate? And therefore, wherever there is separation, division, there must be conflict. As there is conflict going on in the Middle East, the Arab against the Israelite, the Muslim against the Hindu, the Christian against all the rest of the world. This is going on. There is not only national division, economic division, which are all images, concepts, ideas. And the brain clings to these images. Why? Is it because of our education? Is it because of our culture, where the individual is the most important, where the collective society is something totally different from the individual? That's part of our culture, part of our religious training, part of our daily education. And when one has an image about oneself or as being British national and so on, having that image gives one certain security. It's fairly obvious. That is, having created the image about oneself, and that image becomes permanent, semi-permanent, and behind that image, or in that image, one tries to find security, safety, a form of resistance. Right? And when one is related to another, however delicately, however subtly, however physically, biologically, there is a response, both psychological as well as sensory, based on this image. Again, that's a fact. If one observes, if you are married or living with somebody, in our daily life, the image is formed. Whether you are acquainted or live with a person for a week or 10 years, the image is slowly formed, step by step. Every reaction is remembered, stored up in the brain. So the image is formed about my wife and the wife about the husband. Right? Are we following this? And the relationship is maybe physical, sexual, sensory, but actually the relationship is between these two images. Right? With speaker is not saying something extravagant or exotic or fantastic, but is merely pointing out, or rather, together we are learning that these images exist. And these images exist because we can never know another completely.